but we're going to bring in Cody. What's up, my man?
How you doing, brother? Good to
I'm
see you
doing
guys.
good. Long time no talk. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing
All right,
awesome. How
buddy.
cool is that kid, man?
Yeah. You know what, man? They're coming in with more swagger. That's for sure, dude. They're coming
I
in,
love
craft
it.
the social and the understanding. Kid's got 100,000 followers on IG, does stand-up comedy and rap. It's just doing everything, man.
There's something about that New York accent that gets the people's attention.
Awesome, man. I got to get you to switch your camera sideways, buddy. You look like a little ant.
Let's
Can we
see.
make that happen?
How's
There we
that?
go. Looking good, buddy. So
Boom.
what's happening, man? You still back in Cowtown?
Man, I just moved to Iowa a few weeks ago. And
Okay, so you're really in Cowtown then.
dude, you know what? This place is a lot different than Vegas. We've been all over these last 6 to 8 months, and Iowa's got its perks, I'll say that.
Okay. Perks in which way?
It's simple living, dude. Like the people, there's nothing. I've been all over the country now. There's nothing like the Midwest people. You know, these people, they get it. They understand what it's like to slow down and just appreciate the day to day. You can lose a lot of yourself out in Las Vegas, I'll tell you that.
100%, man. 100%. I see you still have those braces on. How long till you get them off? It's been a year, man. It's got to be soon.
Dude, I got like 2 or 3 months. I'm actually flying down to Arizona to get them. My last appointment on Thursday, and hopefully they give me some good news because that's what I'm holding out for my next fight until I get these off, and I'm excited to see what changes. You know.
Yeah, I mean, last time you and I sat down, I guess was at Red Rock when we had a little bit of Italian there. Nice Italian joint in Red Rock, and kind of what you were talking about. You wanted to wait till the braces came off before we seen you again. So you think that's obviously close, but has the phone been ringing? Has Eric and Frank been keeping in touch, stuff like that?
Not too much right now. Obviously, I think there was a lot riding on that last fight with Russell, and you know, I got some work to do. That was a big moment where number 8 going up against the former number 3. That one stung a little bit. So I think I got some work to do. The 205, it's a stacked division. There's going to be a lot of matches that I think are going to take precedent over the next few months that are really going to define the top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, I'm still ranked number 8. Still, I think are a worthy opponent against for sure the 5 through number 10. And I got my eyes on a couple people I'd love to test the waters with, and then all goes well, I'd love to see that rematch with Russell, because I think there's first absolutely some improvement that can be done.
Yeah. I mean, seeing the success of a guy like Isaiah Quiones dropping down to 185, does that cross your mind at all?
Yeah. So I'm really right now. I'm looking at this. I got free moves on the board. I can, test the waters with myself. How to testing the weight cuts, staying in the gym. How can I walk around 200? So to have a steady weight cut down to 185. Or looking at, do they want me to stay at 205? And I'm even not opposed. Give me 4 to maybe 5-6 months or so. I'll stack on 30, 40 pounds. We'll go up to 265. That to me, if I'm selfishly speaking, that's my number one choice. Just because, as any former wrestler knows, those weight cuts are brutal, dude. Yeah. And I don't know how much, I mean, with the sport being still so new, I don't know how much weight cutting is really good for this.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But I mean,
some weight and go test myself up again.
I mean, you're in the right state to do it. You got lots of cattle. You got some potatoes. You can do whatever you need. That's all I know of the area, my man. That's the ignorant Canadian in me. But I actually got an interesting question. Who do you think actually hits harder, Russell Rivero or Damien DeBell? I don't think we've ever actually compared that before. Because we've talked about Russell being one of the hardest hitting guys in the league, and Damien DeBell as well. But how do you think the two of them stack up?
So I think they're different in their own ways. Russell, I think, is, in terms of heavy hitting, I think he's got that traditional boxer sense. So it's that concussion power. But as far as the cleanest, hardest hitting, I think there's nobody like DeBell. You see what he did to Nate Bernard, and his windup is just so precise. that'd be one to anybody should be nervous about. Russell, and this is all respect to him, the Hawaiian people. If I'm being honest, I think Garrett Blakesley hit harder than Russell Rivero. Russell,
Interesting.
He's got some work to do. He needs to be able to keep his feet down. But as far as like hitting harder, one of the mistakes I made is I gave way too much respect to his power, and it actually caused me to flinch on that first round. So going in, if I ever get that rematch back, I don't know. I think you can give a little less respect,
Gotcha, my man. Last one for me before I turn over to Ding. But have you been watching Road to the Title 3, and what do you think so far?
I love it. I tell you what, the new house looks incredible. A lot different than the one we were in. I love the personalities. I think they were very smart bringing in a lot of the 155 division. DeFrank, the guy you just had on, love that kid. Love his personality. I think they did a really good job bringing in more guys that are committed to it, that have a social following, that can bring awareness to this sport. I think the guy that should be really excited for it is Trujillo. I'm excited to see what he does with all this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting, dude. We're going to see how he stacks up. Obviously, the experience that he has, the toughness, the MMA background. And I mean, especially with that performance of, Josh Bovair, fellow Canadian, Ding. Be very interesting to see that matchup happen. I think he's primed right now, but to probably have the most success against Robert Trujillo. But obviously, we know there's levels to this division, and experience obviously goes a long way. And I think that'd be an incredible match, whether we get it at Power Slap 9 or in the future. Because obviously we're going to round 2. We've got 3 matches. Don't quite know how all that's going to kind of fold out before Trujillo gets in the mix. So maybe we see a matchup of 2 of these cats, and someone then goes up against Robert at a future date. So we'll find out real soon.
Absolutely. And the real winner of all this is the fans. I mean, you're getting so many different personalities. The build-ups are fun. Obviously, everything on stage, that shock factor with these knockouts. We've had a lot of knockouts this season. And, just to be a fan of the sport, they're the real winners.
100%.
Beautifully said, man. Obviously, you touched on it earlier, Cody. You don't get the outcome you're looking for when you face Russell at Power Slap 7. But one of the things, and we just talked about this kind of with DeFrank, when the fight was called off, you didn't fall. And I didn't think your footwork was bad, but the referee kind of stared at you and made the decision to wave it off. In that moment, I mean, it was a while ago, so I understand if you can't remember or whatnot. But do you think you were like? Would you agree? You know what? I probably shouldn't have continued, or do you feel like? Because again, if somebody walks towards the ref and they trip or something, that's an obvious one. Or if you're leaning on the referee, kind of like, moving forward with your head and not your feet, I get it. But in your case, you were standing there. He didn't ask you to move laterally or anything like that, and he just looked at you, stared at you for a second, and then decided it was, you were done.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that stoppage?
So in the moment, I felt. Let me back up. Looking at the replays, right? I didn't. This is just me calling a spade a spade. If the catchers didn't catch me, if they didn't brace me, I would have fell 100%. Humbly, I gotta own up to that. Would I have gotten up in time? Who knows? But looking at the facts of what actually happened, when I stayed on my feet, I was coherent. I was there. Was I wobbly? Of course. I just took 2 brutal slaps from arguably one of the hardest hitting guys in the promotion. But here's the thing. If you look at the consistency of these calls, that's where I struggle. And that's something I need to get over. We all need to get over. The refs have the final say. They go over that in the rules exchange. They have the final say. Now, I was fine. I could have at least delivered a slap. Let me go at least one. Now, here's what I'll also say is if I didn't put Russell away, I probably would have went out, dude. I was at that point where let me get one. Let me go out on my shield here. Let me deliver one because Russell, we know I do have some power. But Russell, you hit him just right. AJ's put him down. He's been known he doesn't have the chin like what everybody thinks he does. So I would have loved to test myself against that. It is what it is. You know, we can Monday morning quarterback it and say I should have done this, should have done that. The real biggest thing is I shouldn't have flinched. That's where I'm most disappointed in myself, because if I didn't flinch, eat that first one, it would have been way better. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you being honest, man. A lot of people wouldn't admit that they, would have fallen. Watching that from the outside looking in, I agree. You took kind of a stutter step on your way backward, and I thought if they didn't put their arms out, you probably would have fell. But it seems like Russell, that happens often, man.
This was game plan going into Russell. I didn't speak on this. Actually, I think Corey, you and I talked about this a little bit. I had, I think, a 7 or 8 inch height advantage on Russell. My whole game plan, if you saw me that first slap, I stood damn near straight up. I didn't brace hardly at all. Normally, I bend the knees, really brace, shrug the shoulders up a little bit, tuck the chin. I didn't do any of that. The whole idea was, with him being 5'8", there's no way he would have been able to reach me the way that his windup and his strike is. He would have had to step. Sure enough, he did. Unfortunately, because I flinched, the flinch takes precedence over the step. So my game plan, in theory, if I don't flinch, he would have stepped. Boom, there's foul number 1. We saw it on the second one. He stepped. They didn't call it, but if you look at that replay, that was one of the worst steps I've ever seen. Now, where I think they need to clarify moving forward, and I've talked to a lot of the strikers on this. What the hell is the difference between a minor heel lift versus a step? Dude, that's bullshit. And they need clarification on this. You're going to piss a lot of people off. And I tell you what, people like these heavy hitters, Brian Ellis, Austin Turpin, Vern, these guys that are getting nailed with this, you're just going to say, fuck it, and call it minor heel lift versus step. A knockout's a knockout. I mean, there has to be it has to be cut and dry, so we can all get behind. Okay, this is where it's at. This is what's allowed. This is what isn't. And it's a shame, because I think I had a solid game plan going against Russell, and unfortunately we didn't get to see it due to the minor heel lift rule.
Man, it's crazy. We've literally had that exact conversation on this program, and I agree. It's way too vague, and I think that is where the inconsistency comes from. That's not to say you should freeze frame and measure everyone's heel lift, on the screen, but there has to be some form of measuring. Listen, this is as far as you can go. This is what's considered minor, or you just like the crazy Hawaiian we found out was coaching the guys. I talked to Dakota McGregor last week. No heel lift at all. Like just keep your feet planted and make it simple. But I think the concern is probably that there'll be more fouls that way. So it's a work in progress, but I agree that that's a black and white term, and this is sort of a gray area. So nonetheless, final question for you. You talked about it earlier. You have your eyes set on a couple people. Obviously, you got a big opportunity being number 8, getting to go up against number 3. Unfortunately, it doesn't go your way. He's now sitting at number 2. So there's a lot of people between you and him. Should you, obviously you said you're in pursuit of that rematch at some point. How do you get back there in your eyes? Who do you go through? Who's a worthy opponent that you think can kind of put you right back in that mix?
Alan Klingbeil will be a fun one. I know he's ranked above me. I think if they're going to be gracious and give me mercy, give me Alan. If not, give me one of these guys off road to the Title 3. Let them prove, give them an honest shot at top 10. If I win myself there, give me one of the higher up top 10s. And if we win that one, give me Russell. Give me the number 1 contender spot. So I think I'm for sure 2 matches away from a rematch with Russell or a number 1 contender spot. Or if they want to get some fresh meat up into 265 heavyweight, give me 6 months. I really selfishly, I want to share the stage with Nate Bernard. I think give me a healthy 20, 30 pounds on. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about middleweight a little bit earlier. If you were to make that move, you'd be the tallest middleweight. The Chief is the closest at 6'2". So,
yeah,
I was a little when you said that, I was kind of raising my eyebrows, like you're a bigger guy.
The biggest thing with that, and I don't mean to interrupt you. The biggest thing with that, I absolutely need to get a nutrition coach and get dialed in. I'm gonna hire in one of these. He's like a dietitian, helps with a lot of weight cuts with the UFC fighters, and do a proper water cut. Do some testing before and make sure it's dialed in, because I think the worst thing you can do an unhealthy weight cut, go in knowing you're going to get cracked and don't get the decision you want. So make it. If I'm going to do 185, it's got to be right. And you're absolutely right. I'd be the tallest 185. From what I heard from this last competition, I have the biggest hands in all the promotion. They measure from your pinky to the end of your thumb. I got 11-inch hands. So I think going up against those guys, I think we can have some fun.
Core?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you seem you got 3 weight classes, could go one way or the other. You know, I mean, a lot of ways we see the heavies going up to super and having success. We haven't really seen a lot of success anywhere else. Most of the time, we obviously encourage guys to drop down, just kind of the state of where a lot of these guys have been. I know you walk around fairly lean, so it may not be the easiest thing for you to be able to do so. And especially with that height, I mean, you know, just your natural body weight and composition that you carry around, probably not the easiest thing, but there could be some substantial advantages, you know, over some of these guys if you are able to make that cut down. But you know, kind of like Alan Klingbeil, TJ Thomas, you know, those are fights, obviously, guys that are right in your kind of in your wheelhouse, kind of very much in similar predicaments, I think, as you. Obviously, you know, we're going to see Alan up here on the show real soon. You know, he kind of had another opportunity to show out there. Actually, even Colton Cole would be a fun match for you. Another tall guy. You know, is Kansas considered the Middle East? I'm not sure.
Kansas,
or is it more middle? Central?
Yeah, Kansas is pretty good. I think he's a Missouri boy.
From Missouri,
him and TJ. You know, they're all the Gorilla Slack. So
it's all the same to Canadians. They think Kansas is New York, is California, is Missouri.
Yeah. They're all Tornado Alley boys.
Exactly. Awesome, buddy. Great catching up with you, man. Hopefully we'll see you out there real soon. If not, you know, I don't know, these rumors of December, or maybe we see you out. We'll see. We want to talk about that.
I get the braces off in December. My birthday's January 20th.
All right.
Give me a birthday present. Give me a late January. Let's do some traveling. I got my passport coming.
Little Saudi Arabia for you on the 30th.
Dude, let me be active. Let's take this serious.
Yeah. 100%, my man. Appreciate you, dude. Great catching up. All right. Keep the show rolling, my man. We'll catch with you real soon. Take care, man. Yeah.